It's the 21st of April, it's Easter Monday and I'm Tom Glasson. Welcome to the roast. Sorry, hey, an Easter egg! Tell you what, the Easter Bunny really outdid himself this year with the hiding. Sorry. Oh my God, that came from it. Hey, there he is. Tonight on The Roast, the Royals continue their tour of Australia and George Brandis defends the rights of climate deniers. But first, Mark Humphries has the headlines.
Bob Carr, former Minister for Foreign Affairs and current Minister for Book Signings, has spruiked Kevin Rudd's credentials to become the new United Nations Secretary-General.
He would be a very strong, credible candidate. It would be the most natural thing in the world for him to stand.
OK, Bob, but I'll be the judge of whether Kevin represents the attributes of the UN. Where's Rudd's resume? OK, great at making symbolic gestures, terrible at following through with tough decisions, highly skilled in unfulfilling compromises. Oh my God, he's perfect. Of course, an Australian becoming head of the UN does seem highly unlikely, but on the other hand, just this weekend I heard about this religious guy who was killed, put in a tomb, and came back to life 3 days later, so what do I know? Fairfax Media reports that China, the country, not the former giant lady wrestler, is building a network of spies inside Australia's universities. This makes Chinese spies the creepiest people on university campuses, right behind those students that really want to get on student council. China is constructing the network because the communist government is keen to keep tabs on any citizens studying overseas.
90,000 students from mainland China are potentially exposed to ideas and activities not readily available at home.
Yeah, China had better be careful. For all they know, 90,000 Chinese students have been converted to ultimate frisbee. Miss America, the person most qualified to talk about world peace while wearing a bikini, has asked a US high school to reconsider the suspension of a student who asked her to be his prom date. Nina Davaluri, seen here fending off pumpkins, was propositioned by the student during the question and answer portion of her visit to the school, but it wasn't to be.
I was flattered by the gesture, although I am unfortunately unable to attend due to my travel schedule.
It's true, if you take a look at her travel schedule, she is due to appear at anything else. But still, it's unfortunate for the student because she totally would have done it with him. For The Roast, I'm Mark Humphries.
Thank you, Mark. Well, it's been 6 full days since the royal couple landed in Australia, and boy have they done it all. So long as by all you mean worn clothes and shaken hands. Taking a pit stop today, Sky News reported royals enjoy day off in Canberra, and that is legitimately newsworthy because no one has ever enjoyed a day off in our nation's capital. But their well-earned break does give us a chance to recap the trip so far. Last Friday, after proving that some English batsmen can hit a ball in Australia, the royal couple headed to the bush where
Prince William came within inches of falling from a 100-metre cliff face in the Blue Mountains.
Okay, 2 things. Firstly, you cannot use inches and metres in the same sentence. Pick a side, Sydney Morning Herald, metric or the shit one. And second, just standing on a cliff does not qualify as coming within inches of falling. By that logic, every time William showers, he is within millimetres of drowning. Or ounces if you're the Sydney Morning Herald. But this duke of being able to stand upright earned the respect of some pretty special people.
His countryman, James Bond, definitely would have approved.
Yeah, and who isn't always seeking the approval of a fictional man born inside a book? Thankfully, though, the local Blue Mountains experts weren't worried about Will's safety.
He was fine, of course. He knew what he was doing. I think his military background prepared him well for it.
Oh yeah, thank God for the military, where you learn to kill, be killed, and take in breathtaking vistas.
Look at you maggots! You're so green, you make me want to puke! You think it's easy to stare off a cliff, to take in a glorious view?
Sir, yes, sir!
No, it's not easy! You will be somewhat close to certain death. People will worry. The press will take photos of you. You will need to stand within a foot of that precipice and comment on how perfect the scenery is, how inspiring. You need to breathe it in. Whoa, take a step back there, soldier. This isn't the SAS. Almost give me a heart attack.
But as it was with the old Prince of Perils cliffhanging adventure, everywhere you look, this royal visit is being reported like it's some sort of death-defying event.
Nothing but curved perspex separated the prince from his endangered marsupial namesake.
Oh my God, that 800-gram herbivore almost had him.
At the bird show, the couple had galahs and owls swooping just centimetres above their heads.
Oh my God, those 300-gram seed eaters almost had them.
While braving 31-degree heat and a very high UV index of 8 in the Northern Territory, the pair will visit Uluru.
Oh my God, they're almost living in Australia. So the trip is being reported with all the drama of a global conflict, while actual global conflicts are being reported with all the gravitas of they're not being reported.
We're with William, Kate and little baby George.
We'll break into programs and bring it to you live as it's happening.
Channel 7 there, actually boasting about breaking into real news stories in order...
Your front row seat to the Royal Tour is right here on 7.
Hey, we're not even on the same network. I gotta say, this is getting out of control. I can only hope the Roast's own Weekend News was able to resist that royal temptation.
Well, how about that?
I'll be buying many pairs of those.
Moving to the Ukraine now. It's again in turmoil as the fragile Easter truce has been broken.
Speaking of fragile, an equally fragile Easter egg was given to Prince William by excited onlookers. My sources say that while the egg was most likely milk chocolate, they aren't ruling out that it may have been dark chocolate or even carob. No kid likes carob. What the hell is it? Alex?
Turning now to Nepal, where 12 Sherpas were killed preparing routes on Mount Everest. The mountain is
much larger than the Blue Mountains. Stay safe this Easter, everyone. Alex?
A ferry
on Sydney Harbour was ridden by Kate and Will. Alex? She's probably gone to do some royal watching. That woman is obsessed.
Hard to believe we've never brought that show up until now. Anyway, oh God, it's the hard egg again. We'll be right back. Help.
Good luck, Tom. Hey guys, have you ever had chocolate eggs buried inside your body? How deep were they buried? Dermis? Epidermis? We'd love to hear about it on Twitter @TheRoastTV or #RoastTV.
Oh God, that was inside me? Finally tonight, it wasn't all royal coverage in the news over the weekend. Australia's Attorney-General George Brandis also made headlines, giving the Roast Weekend news team some actual news to report.
Promise you won't do it again. To politics now. An Attorney-General, George...
Son of William and Kate and future King of England went to the zoo. Adorable!
Well, that explains this then. So Australia's Attorney-General George Brandis has told a British magazine that the views of climate change deniers are being denied. And who are these oppressed climate change deniers? Well, they include people like this poor old man, where by poor I mean rich and owns a significant majority of the country's newspapers, and by old I mean is definitely immortal. In the article, Brandis said he was really shocked by the sheer authoritarianism of those who would have excluded from the debate the point of view of people who were climate change deniers. Except their point of view wasn't really being excluded. We read about it literally every day in any newspaper owned by that poor old man. But according to Brandis,
one side has the orthodoxy on its side and delegitimises the views of those who disagree, rather than engaging with them intellectually and showing them why they are wrong.
Yeah, climate change scientists, don't ignore the climate change deniers, just like those deniers don't ignore the 2,000-page report that you scientists wrote, citing over 9,200 scientific publications and concluding that climate change is definitely happening. Jazz Twemlow, is George Brandis just trying to help?
Maybe, Tom, but while we should be thankful to Brandis for defending free speech, bigots and climate science deniers aren't exactly the first people I'd imagine need his help, especially when you consider that being repeatedly told you're wrong by 97% of the scientific community isn't a form of oppression. It's a form of intellectual masochism that completely wastes the precious time of scientists who, in the meantime, could be working on ways to fix the dying planet you're arguing about. It also means Brandis is effectively fighting for the right for people to continue having an argument they've already lost a long time ago.
Come on, I must be winning by now. I just keep scoring.
But there's no one on the pitch. The tournament ended 4 years ago. Your team thoroughly lost, okay? Everyone's left. And there are trees growing in the grandstand. What Brandis, that civil rights pioneer, doesn't appreciate is that arguing about climate change isn't the same as arguing about your favourite band. You need qualifications to debate this. That's why there's no call for deniers to be involved in other areas of science like cardiology. Otherwise, this would happen.
We're going to need to operate and suture the wounds immediately.
I reckon you quacks are making this up.
No, we're not. See, we've already established that you're dying.
Nah, I'm good. Just leave it, I reckon.
Oh, yep, great. Now he's dead. Thanks.
Oh my God, what the hell happened?
People with no qualifications got to have a say on an issue of science, Tom. So there you go.
Oh, thank you, Jazz. I don't want this. So after defending the rights of bigots and now the rights of climate change deniers, our Attorney General has proven himself a champion of society's least favourite people. Next up, he'll be fighting for the rights of your high school bully to steal your lunch.
Give me that chocolate, you human Easter bunny. Okay. Open up that gullet, egg boy. Oh, thank you, Brandis. Good night.